Дамы и господа.
Did Vladimir Putin just lose one of his most important allies in the Western Hemisphere, in a region long seen as America's backyard? On January 3rd, U.S. forces captured Venezuela's longtime strongman leader, Nicolás Maduro.
Good night. Happy New Year.
So, does Maduro's downfall mean Russia's influence in Venezuela is over? Not necessarily.
Moscow has maintained over the past years close relations with now interim President Delcy Rodriguez and also the defense minister Vladimir Padrino Lopez. Because as you probably remember that Delcy Rodriguez, she was vice president, but she also was minister of oil. So that shows again that Russia has politically very, very close ties with key figures, key actors in the current government in Venezuela.
No importa.
Russia and Venezuela continue to maintain regular contact at a diplomatic level. However, the Kremlin said that Putin had no plans to contact Rodriguez in the near future. Russia's strongest leverage lies in oil. Moscow holds the second largest foreign claim on Venezuela's oil assets after China's Sinopec, according to Bloomberg. Over the years, Russia has invested billions of dollars in the country's oil infrastructure. What happens now to those investments? Russia's state-run company Rosneft says the oil assets it developed in Venezuela belong to Russia, and it intends to keep operating there.
So Russia would have also possibility to insist that its presence inside energy projects in Venezuela it's legally his legal basis.
But Washington is signaling a different future. U.S. President Donald Trump has said the United States intends to control Venezuela's oil sales and would be ready to sell to China and Russia.
We are open for business. China can buy all the oil they want from us there or in the United States. Russia can get all the oil they need from us, and they do like oil, even though they produce a lot of it.
However, some analysts believe the United States may allow Russia to stay in Venezuela to some extent.
While the United States is going to probably aggressively defend its claims to oil resources and also assert itself in the security space, I wouldn't rule out the possibility that the United States could permit Russian private sector from continuing to trade with or even, do business in Venezuela, just if it's on non-oil or security-related sectors.
Russia has also been Venezuela's main arms supplier for years, delivering air defense systems, aircraft, and small arms. Last year, Maduro claimed Venezuela had deployed some 5,000 Russian-made Igla-S missiles at key air defense positions. But during the U.S. operation to capture him, those and other Russian-supplied air defense systems were not very helpful. One unresolved question is the fate of roughly 100 Russian military personnel sent to Venezuela in 2019. Moscow described it as a training and advisory mission at the time. There has been no official confirmation of their withdrawal. However, Russian soldiers have not been seen publicly for some time.
There was some media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter photos showing, for example, those Russians with uniform visiting local stores. So we haven't seen these photos for some times already. There are no evidence that Russians are there.
Analysts believe that Russia has no reason not to try to keep its ties in Venezuela. The question is to what extent it realistically can. Russia's focus on its war in Ukraine may limit its ability and desire to assume such a role. Moscow may instead focus on protecting its global shadow fleet, a network of tankers used to move sanctioned oil. Earlier this month, U.S. naval forces seized the Russian-flagged tanker Bella 1, also known as Marinera, in the North Atlantic. The ship was suspected of transporting sanctioned energy products. The seizure was a blow to a system Moscow relies on to fund both its economy and its war in Ukraine.
I would expect more Russian military threats, especially if the United States continues to seize these sanctioned oil tankers, including potentially some nuclear posturing. If this is effective at reducing U.S. law enforcement actions and sanctions enforcement, it could indirectly ease some pressure on the remaining Chavista governance and inner circle in Venezuela.
Putin has not publicly commented yet on the U.S. operation to capture Maduro. Russia may be willing to tolerate U.S. dominance in the Western Hemisphere so long as Washington stays out of what Moscow sees as its own backyard. That, in the Kremlin's eyes, includes Ukraine. In short, Moscow may be staying quiet now, hoping for an unspoken deal later. You lead over there, we lead over here.